Let me ask you something simple, but quietly powerful. When was the last time you actually felt your birthday? Not just acknowledged it, not just replied, thanks to a few messages, but truly felt it, the way you did when you were a child. That heartbeat thrum of excitement for balloons, cake, and everyone's eyes turning towards you for one small sacred day. Now, fast forward. The same date comes and goes, but it feels like any other day. You wake up, you get a few notifications, maybe your mum calls, and you move on. You say you don't really celebrate. You say you don't care. You say it's just another day. But is it really? Because underneath that nonchalance, that casual shrug, there's often a quiet story. People who treat their birthday like a normal day aren't cold or detached. In fact, they're often the most reflective ones. The ones who learn to hide their expectations because disappointment taught them to. Psychologically, birthdays are emotional mirrors. They reflect how you feel about being alive, how you relate to attention, and how comfortable you are being seen. When someone says, "I don't care about my birthday," what they're often saying is, "I don't need validation anymore." But sometimes what they mean is, "I stopped expecting it." There's a difference between maturity and emotional withdrawal. Some people genuinely grow out of birthday excitement. Not out of sadness, but out of peace. They found meaning in ordinary days, in routines, in quiet moments. To them, joy isn't confined to a calendar date. They've learned that life itself is the celebration. This is a shift from external celebration to internal acknowledgement. It's the quietest form of maturity. You no longer need the world's permission to feel good about being alive. But for others, the story is different. The "it's just another day" is protection disguised as indifference. It's called emotional self-protection. The brain, after repeated letdowns, learns to lower the bar. You reduce anticipation to avoid disappointment. You teach yourself not to hope too loud. And yet, here's the human paradox. We all want to be seen, not praised, not celebrated with grand gestures, but seen genuinely. There's a quiet, almost invisible test that happens. Who remembered without a reminder? Who still sees you when you're not performing? And even if you tell yourself it doesn't matter, a small part of you still checks. That's not weakness, that's humanity. Stripped of all tradition, birthdays are checkpoints of consciousness. They force a pause, a silent question. Am I living honestly? Am I becoming someone I recognize? When you treat your birthday normally, it might mean you're facing these questions privately, without an audience. Because not all growth needs to be broadcast. Some growth is invisible in how you forgive faster, or find beauty in moments that once went unnoticed. Maybe the truest celebration is when you don't need the day to feel extraordinary, because you've learned to find the extraordinary inside the ordinary. So if your birthday feels ordinary, if you worked, made coffee and carried on, that's not something to fix. It might be gratitude in disguise. Your life is already full enough to not need one day to make it meaningful. But give yourself permission to be soft. If you miss the excitement you once had, it's okay. Missing your younger self doesn't mean you've regressed. It means you remember innocence. Before the world taught you restraint, that child is still inside, waiting not for a party, but for you to whisper, "Hey, I see you. We made it another year." This isn't about indifference, it's about integration, the merging of joy and reflection, learning that meaning doesn't need noise. And in the quiet, if someone remembers, let them. Let them remind you that you matter. because you do, even on the days that feel ordinary, especially then. If this quiet exploration of the human heart resonated with you, consider subscribing. We don't just observe psychology here, we feel our way through it.